Ahoy toy, welcome to Transfix, the channel that is maxed out. And tonight we're going to be taking a look at the Boss Fight Studios Sam and Max action figures. And I was thrilled when these came out because I love Sam and Max. Sam and Max is awesome and hilarious. What, another positive review? Not complaining? Yes. I don't know why, but this is another good one. And I mean, the figures are not perfect, we'll get into it. But a little background, if you don't know Sam and Max, the first time I was introduced to Sam and Max, I can't really remember. I think it was in the LucasArts instruction manuals that came with the Star Wars games, where they had little comics in the back of the manuals, and they did, like this, for example. So they had some Star Wars parodies, and the humor is just great. It's very absurd and maybe not cynical. It's I don't know. I just love it. Look at this. Great stuff. And then the next time I saw them, I was probably in the LucasArts Adventure game. Look at this, man. I got all this for $40. You probably know this game. It's Sam and Max Hit the Road. I think this is a lot of people's introduction. There's also a cartoon. I had one season of a cartoon series. But I guess it didn't do too well. I think it's a bit... I don't think Sam and Max skews that young. I think you'd probably have to be maybe 15 and up. I don't know, a little bit on the teenage or older side to really appreciate the humor. And then I was in a Virgin Megastore buying CDs, I guess.
Which was the style at the time?
They had a book section upstairs, and I found this, and oh my goodness, the collected Sam and Max Surfing the Highway. This was just a gem. I read this so many times. Even though it's black and white, I wasn't usually into that, but the humor here was just... oh my god, I just love it. I just love this stuff. There's some color ones. Again, the reprinted Star Wars stuff in the back here. And then it was the Telltale video game series, adventure games, where they also had an option where you could buy another collected hardcover book. And I even got it autographed by Steve Purcell. Mine was number 1277 out of 2500. For whatever that is worth. But yeah, this is just great stuff. I think Steve Purcell, from what I remember, he came up with Sam and Max with his brother. I think his brother actually created the characters, and they just did their own little stuff as kids. The humor was always there. They called themselves the wrong names. Like Sam would be like, "Hey Sam, I mean Max," and but his brother didn't want to do anything with the characters, so Steve took it on and built it into what it is today. And we have these figures. Yeah, so here they are. Let's take a look at them. They come in these boxes. Boxes are very exciting. They're pretty much the same, except with their character portrait on the top, and the sides and the back is the same, with a bit of a comic, which is nice. And they come with a lot of accessories. So let's get into the figs.
Who are these guys?
So here is Sam. Sam is a dog. He's actually number 2 and Max is number 1 on the box, but starting with Sam because it's called Sam and Max. His hat is a separate accessory. He comes with his revolver that he's often seen with in the comics, and it is shaped like it is in the comics with that nice sort of bend. And it's sort of a soft plastic. It's not rubber, but it's soft. Same as his hat, his blazer, and his tie and collar are soft material. And the rest of the body is sort of a firm plastic with a bit of a give. What's it similar to? I can't really think of anything it's similar to, really. It's not as rubbery as Hasbro figures. For accessories, he has 2 alternate heads. He's got this angry head here, which we don't often see him sporting. But when the bartender calls him McGruff, he does have that expression on his face. I also enjoy that page because that's when Max replies, "If he calls me Hello Kitty, I'll plug him." And then he's got this expression here, which I guess is surprised? I don't know. But he has been seen with that face in the comics. And he's got alternate hands. So that's the trigger finger for his right hand and an open hand on his left here. And he also has the reverse of a trigger on his left and open hand on the right. And he's got a pair of fists, or as other reviewers would say, fisted hands for some reason. That's that. And he comes with his popsicle, which he's often seen eating in the comics. His melting orange popsicle. And this one here I enjoy. And this is the Max head puppet from the activity page. So there is Sam with all of Sam's accessories. So you can take this off, and it's just on a ball joint, like a barbell, dumbbell, and then it just pops on. And I think these are not too hard to change. It doesn't really snap in. Actually, since I have the head off, I guess you could take off this piece as well. I'm just going to put this head back on and hope it will snap into place. It doesn't really click into place. Did I modify this one? No, I think I did on Max though. Okay, and you can do the same with the hands. The hands just pop out. Oof. I hope that doesn't get too stressed. It looks like it did bend a little bit. But that's how these go on here. It's not easy. Those ones pop in a little nicer. Put this one back on. And he is a little hand puppet. That's a nice accessory. And he's got standard articulation, so you saw the dumbbell in the neck there, so double jointed, but you know, the way he's shaped kind of gets in the way. You can rotate the shoulder, and he's got some in and out on the shoulder, and same with the elbow. It's a single joint, but it's got a good range and a swivel. You saw the hands were on just a swivel. Swivel? Yeah, swivel. Is there anything at the waist? No, nothing. Yeah, there is. Yes, there is. There is a ball joint at the waist here above his belt, and then for the legs, he's got a ball joint in the hips, and a ball and swivel on the knee. Now, I'll get back to that. And then for the foot, he's also got one of these ball and swivel joints here, like you see with the standard 6-inch figures in Marvel Legends. Now, this knee broke the first time I tried to bend it. I found the joints were pretty tight. That's something I've noticed on other boss fight figures. Boss fight studios are a good bunch. I've seen them a lot on the Full Force podcast. They seem like really nice people. They seem to know what they're doing. But there's something about the manufacturing of their figures, you know, since they split off. I think they're all former Hasbro employees that started their own company. And their stuff is good, except when they come from the factory, they just... I don't know, the joints are very tight, and like I said, as soon as the very first time I tried to bend this knee, it just broke right off at the peg, where the peg moved into the thigh. So that's the joint here that snapped. So this disc here where it's supposed to bend, okay, we can do it there on this. This knee seems to be okay. It's got those ratchet joints, you know, like Marvel Legends have. I bought these ones directly from Boss Fight's website, and I contacted them to exchange it when this happened, and they didn't have any more in stock that they could exchange, so they kindly, I think they gave me a refund. Was it a full refund or partial refund? I think they came out to give me a full refund. I'm sorry, I don't remember now. So I tried to repair it, since I couldn't get another one at the time, and which is fine because the shipping is outrageous to Canada. The super glue, the CA glue you normally used, wouldn't hold. It didn't work, so I put in some of this green stuff, this epoxy compound that that seems to be holding it. But now I've got no swivel in this leg anymore, and no bend at the knee anymore. So that's fine. I mean, normally he just stands there, but it's unfortunate that happened. I don't know why these joints have to be so tight. I have the same complaints with Hasbro stuff though. These rubber figures that Hasbro makes, these ones are at least a bit more solid, but I just don't know why those ratchets have to be so tight for a small figure like this. And speaking of the size, let's get a comparison. Here he is with a G.I. Joe classified figure, which is 6 inches. Here he is with a modern 25th anniversary style G.I. Joe figure, which is about 4 inches. And a 1980s Real American Hero G.I. Joe figure, which is about 3 3/4 inches. And the actual height of Sam, we should have his hat on for this, is exactly 6 inches to the top of the hat, or 15 centimeters. Those smaller figures do not stand up on their own, so there's a better lineup for size comparison. And since we've been doing Starcom recently, let's throw in Starcom. And here's Max. Max is cute. Max is articulated very well. He has another, this head I'm going to be a little bit careful with, but, yeah, he also has the same sort of double, well, not exactly the same. He's got a ball joint for its head here, and it wiggles a little bit, but it doesn't really move on that joint. It moves here. And I think, did I have to carve this out? Yeah, I think I did carve out this neck socket a little bit because it was very tight. I guess I'll leave the head off for the time being. He's got little, disc hinge, shoulders, and same with his elbows, single jointed. Swivel at the wrists, same as Sam has. And these hands can be swapped. And to change his hands, it's the same. You just unplug the hand and plug in the new hand. and they will click in. There's a little ridge there where they click into place, but again, it's tight. Tighter than I think it needs to be. He's got his Luger German pistol here, which I guess we'll take out. I've got him the same as Sam with his trigger on the right and open hand on the left, and the same little ball joints at the hip, and a swiveling knee bend here, and even painted feet, which is nice. It even says copyright 2020 Steve Purcell there. His tail is not articulated, it is glued onto his butt. And he has some alternate pieces. So he has this, I like this head. He also has a head with no mouth. And he has a head with an open mouth, which he often looks like. And these are nicely sculpted, nicely painted. You can see that they don't have ears because the ears are nicely labeled right and left. And they just plug into the other heads, of course. So you don't have to have, I mean, I guess that saves a bit of money and production to not have ears on every head. And looks like I cut this one out too. Yeah, these are very tight joints. The other problem, like I said, with the boss fight stuff, is it was very difficult to get these on, maybe impossible, especially with that tiny little joint there. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on these small joints, but the sockets are so tight. Even after carving this a bit, it's very hard. I guess I have to heat that up if I want to change that head. So I will just put the original head back on for now, if you'll forgive me for that. And it's, I guess it's slightly loose now that I've cut it, but better than being too tight. Yep, that's not great. I'm not sure how they would have improved that. It's such a small joint. Anyway, there's Max. He's a bit of an off-white tone, not pure white. So other accessories he comes with is a bunch of hands. He's got actually more hands. So he has a pair of fists as well. He has the opposite hands if you want to have open hand on the right and trigger hand on the left. And he also has an extra one, which is this peace sign. Or if you're in the UK, I guess this is up yours. I guess that kind of equates to Sam having an extra hand as well. Oh, and a pointing one. I forgot about this. He has a pointing hand on the right. He also has a hammer, which is a nice accessory to have. He has a little rat here, which I believe is Rizzo from the comics. Giving a little finger wag, I guess. And he comes with a telephone, and if you read the comics, you know they always fight over the phone when the phone rings. This is a nice soft rubber cable here, and you can set the receiver on there. A nice rotary phone. This doesn't move or anything. It's just solid pieces that are glued together, but it's nice that it comes with that. And I guess you could, I'm sure the hand would hold this. Would it? Let's test it. I guess I'll have to use the trigger hand for this. You could squeeze it in here. Yeah, you can use the gun trigger hand to hold the phone. Hold the phone. And Sam can hold this phone as well in his holding hand. And then you can reenact the comics as you please. And there is Max with all of his accessories. And there's a size comparison of Max with a classified figure, G.I. Joe Modern and Classic figures, and Starcom. And Max stands 4 inches to the top of his ears, or 10 centimeters. So there are Sam and Max with everything they come from, and they're awesome. I love them. I believe this is the only Sam and Max figures that are out there, really. So they did a good job with the sculpt, as I say. Just be careful if you do get these with swapping parts. Be very careful and bending those joints the first time. So you may want to heat things up with a hairdryer before you start moving things around. I wish that wasn't the case, but other than that, they're pretty good. I guess I would recommend them. I think they're about $35 each, last time I checked. So yeah, if you're like me and you love Sam and Max, you gotta have these guys. Other than those little problems, like the painting is good, the sculpt is spot on, I'm happy to have them. If you don't know anything about Sam and Max, well, you're probably not watching this video, but you should check it out. Try to get the comics. They are hilarious. The cartoon is actually pretty funny too, but the comics are the best. The LucasArts adventure game is awesome. The Telltale games had their moments, but I don't know. I think those games were not great. They did an okay job of capturing Sam and Max, but all the other characters were not very interesting, and the adventure was not interesting. The story wasn't great, and the puzzles and mechanics of the game got stale very fast. It was the same thing over and over again. So yeah, for the best Sam & Max experience, play the old adventure game and read the comics. So thanks for watching. Next video, we will be back to Starcom.